Hey everyone, it's Keith Hayden again, back with part 5 of the How to Edit an Audio Drama series, and we are just about at the end of this editing process, and I plan on finishing up to the publishing part today. Like, I don't know if you're going to watch all the videos today, but I plan on recording the rest of this today. So you're in for a treat. We're going to see how this whole thing plays out and then how our finished product sounds in the end to actually get it out to our audience. So as usual, if you want to know more about me, you can check out my website, keithhayden.net, and you can find a lot more about the stuff that I'm doing, cool stuff, every day to build my creativity and have it benefit people like you out there. So let's jump right into Ableton. Let's jump right back and just continue where we left off, which was here we had already put this sound effect and we're already towards the end of the episode. Now, when I get towards the end, that's when I like to put in my music. Music, it can really come in at different times, and that's what I love about music in general. I've always loved music since I was a kid, but doing it now as a creator, creating my own music, and then really using it, especially in something like an audio drama or an audio drama slash book, where music isn't always like a standout feature. Some audio drama fiction stories they always have some type of ambient music going on and playing in the background, maybe a little piano melody or something like that, very simple. But the music typically doesn't stand out in its own. It's not meant to. It's just meant to help enhance the story. I use music the same way, but I will also use it as a tool to mark certain moments, and everything I compose is composed to the story. These aren't just random songs that I'm putting together and then just throwing in there. These are songs that are custom made for this story, for the story beats, for the specific characters that it represents. So that makes the music a little bit more impactful and more connected to the story, and it makes it more complete package. So this is where we're at now, is putting in the music here, and I already know which track I want to use. I'm just going to find it right now. So I'm going to my music, and I'm looking for Noah's theme. Here we are. So I'm going to open this up, and I should just be able to drag it in. Hopefully there's no issues here. I'm not sure what this little signal means in here, but we're about to find out. Uh-oh. It cannot be read. Oh, wow. Okay. That's a pain in the ass. Though the track that I want cannot be read. All right. I have a backup plan. I clearly did not plan on this happening, but here's what I'm going to do, because I could re-render it out of Ableton, but there might be a faster solution. Let's see. I'm just going to go to my SoundCloud where I know all of my songs are, and I'm going to see if I can download it. That's probably the fastest way. I'm not sure what happened with that track. Yeah, I just don't even know. I'll figure it out later. Let's see. Let's go to edit and see if it's my track, so I should be able to download it. There it is, download file. Perfect. Cool. Whew, man. Problem solver, right? And I guess that's a real-time example. I guess that's a kind of a teaching point too. You can see how a lot of these, how so many parts have to come together to create one of these episodes. It's mind-blowing. I've gotten so used to the process and so used to dipping in and out of certain files and just finding things that I've learned to juggle this very well. But that's overwhelm is a real issue for a lot of people who are new to like doing podcasting and audio drama, and just replace. Let's see if I can replace the file. Yeah, overwhelms is a thing. So that's why I highly recommend, you got to make sure you organize your stuff. So see how quick that was? We went from corrupted and now we've got the song back and now we're able to just throw it in and boom, there we are. Real time problem solving right there, folks. No rehearsal. All right, so of course I threw it in there just like I've been telling you the whole time with Ableton. It does its warp feature. We don't want it warped. I'm going to turn that off and I'm going to zoom in. And what I like to do with the music is kind of, and this is an interesting part, I just kind of throw it in and then see how it sounds with the story beat and like when it comes in. You know, I was gradually faded in, but I just like to throw it in, see what happens, and then I want to say 80% of the time it lands in like almost that sweet spot. I only have to do minor adjustments to really, you know, I only have to do minor adjustments to it for it to hit where in the story where I want it to hit. So we're going to slowly bring it in. I don't like to bring it in at 0 because that's like inaudible. You can't hear anything. I like to bring it in to where it's like kind of like creeping in. And it depends on what it is, right? Like if it's like an action scene or a battle scene or something like that, then okay, we're going to just throw it in there. Boom. But for most scenes, it's going to be a gradual, you know, orient the listener's ear to, okay, we've got a song creeping in now, and then it's kind of like a surprise because there's been no music this entire episode, and that's kind of intentional because the last episode was very impactful. It ended on a very like, whoa, like it was a big reveal, like a big kind of twist in the last episode. So now we're kind of lessening the tension, but it's still there. This is direct consequence to the events. And if you haven't listened to it, I highly recommend you go listen to Chapter 25, Founders Day, Cereus Limnic podcast. I mean, I'm not just hyping it because it's my own stuff. I mean, it's legitimately good, like emotional and very, dare I say, dramatic episode. It's just really good. And so bottom line is we're picking up where that episode left off, and we want to slow things down a bit, but still keep kind of the tension growing. And then with this last part, this is, if you don't recall, this is our post episode kind of teaser. And I usually have it, you know, give a little space and then I will have the music play out into this teaser. But this song is not long enough. This song is only like, it's less than a minute long, I think. It's one of the earlier songs I did that I was really experimenting with like character themes and just trying to get kind of an essence of each character. And I won't go into too much into that because we're not talking about music here. I'll definitely do a separate training about music in the future, like how I create music and, you know, how you can kind of create music that's specific to a book, you know, like character themes and stuff like that. But we're talking about editing a podcast. So but the music's part of the package. So let's go down to our sounds and deal with our sound effects before I even sample the music because I want to make sure that everything is where it should be. So we're going to start fading. Let's see where we're at here.
I found a sale on the mid-range colored skin tone that you were searching for the other night.
No, that's too far in.
She had chosen independent of her master's commands, had the desired soporific effect. I will say goodnight now, Noe. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, that sounds, when their conversation's ending, that's like a perfect time to start transitioning. So let's see when the conversation ends.
She had chosen independent of her master's commands. Talk to you later. Fire disappeared, and the cameras went dark.
Okay, that's perfect. And the cameras went dark is a great time to transition to start fading the sounds out, and we'll let the music come up. And we'll just see where it lands, right? So I want them to kind of take each other's place. And it looks like this is the last. Good, that's naturally ending there. So I want to make sure I'm not on track panning. I want to be on volume. Was I on volume here? Yeah, I was. Okay. Well, let me make sure I hit that because I missed. Got to zoom in far enough. Okay, that's fine. Doesn't have to be perfect. Well, this sound's gonna end anyway, so that's maybe we don't have it end so soon. Duplicate it a little bit more just so it syncs up with the vehicle traffic, and it's pretty low anyway, so it's not gonna be too big of a deal. Okay. Okay, that's good. Now, as that's fading out, let's just see where it lands, and then we will go into our post credits.
Noah let out an involuntary yawn. "Good night, Vi," she murmured. Her legs curled onto the small space of the couch. As soon as her eyes closed, she lost consciousness. Sleep settled over her like a warm blanket, acting as a protective shield from the revelations that would soon come her way.
Okay, I like that. I like the way it's slowly coming in.
Sleep settled over her like a warm blanket, acting as a protective shield from the revelation.
Okay, sleep settled over her.
As soon as her eyes closed, she lost consciousness.
I like it I like that as soon as her eyes closed, she lost consciousness. It because it's a very kind of dreamy kind of track, but it's also like a very somber kind of song. So we'll have it come in like when her eyes closed. And that's a perfect transition into the next chapter, which is it starts out in kind of a dream type sequence. So we'll let that play out. We'll let that ride. And I'll copy that again. Let me just bring it down. Oh man, we're not dragging down here. What's going on? There we go. And then what I like to do is I like to bring up this, and this is a total creative, this is a Keith Haydenism here, but you don't have to do this. But what I like to do is kind of, the song's obviously been low, so you can make sure we hear the audio track very well. But then I like to bring it up at the end. I like to have it kind of swell to where, okay, we hit this kind of moment that we're at the end of the chapter now, and then I let it play for a couple of seconds, not very long. And let's see, there's no exact time, just like a few seconds, no more than probably like 10 seconds, probably less. And then I bring it down again, and then that's when I bring in my post show announcement. And I typically end with the end of the song. I don't think I'll be able to do that because this song is so short. Yeah, this song is a little short. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring us in a little bit more. Here, give us a little bit more time. Less time at the peak. And then bring it down fairly quickly so we can go right into the announcement. Yeah, it's not, I usually like to end with the song, but the song is just so short. So I think we're just going to end with my last kind of, hey, parting, hey, this episode's over. So let's listen to how it goes.
She lost consciousness. Sleep settled over her like a warm blanket, acting as a protective shield from the revelations that would soon come her way.
Whoa. Okay, so got a couple of things going on here that I don't like. First of all, that transition's way too fast. Got to give it time to kind of build a little bit. Next, there's this reverb on here. I think it's leftover from the last. Um, it's not leftover. Why are we reverbing so hard? What's going on with that? No reverbs, no. Maybe that's just a song. Wow, I haven't heard this song in a while. That's way too much reverb. What the hell was I thinking? But hey, that's okay. That's all right. You live and you learn, right? So it might be something. It's just a track. It might be something that we're stuck with. Yeah, I don't. I thought because I had put some extra reverb on the last chapter, and as you saw, like I kept most of the settings from the last chapter. But let me. There it is. Okay, I didn't turn off the. There it is. I was like, what the hell? I don't remember putting that much damn reverb on this, and I was right. I didn't. Okay. All right, so now it should be more or less normal. Let's listen again.
Sleep settled over her like a warm blanket, acting as a protective shield from the revelations that would soon come her way.
Hey, this is Keith Hayden from the Cereus Limnic Audio Drama Podcast. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. And I just wanted to remind... that's too fast. Okay, I don't like that. And I need to do something else because we still have our master chain on. I remember from the last lesson, I turned this off at the beginning because this last part was just recorded a few days ago with this better microphone. So I need to turn off the mastering chain. I'm going to automate it off when we are done with the main narrative. So that's taken care of. Next thing I need to do is, we're not going to end with the song anyway. I was trying to end with the song, but it's just not going to happen. So I'd rather have a smoother lead in to the credits. And let's just extend this. Let's extend this by a little bit. I guess I could loop the track. I don't know. I don't really usually do that, but and then I could just fade. Let me see how that works. So let's just Control D, and let's see how it transitions, how it sounds. Might have to put a space in between here, just so it doesn't sound too crazy. And then we'll fade it. We'll do our come up again, and then we will let it play for a little while, and then we'll fade it to end somewhere over here. Let's see how it sounds. Actually, I need to see how this transition goes from the sound effects.
Went dark. Noah let out an involuntary yawn. "Good night, Vi," she murmured. Her legs curled onto the small space of the couch. As soon as her eyes closed, she lost consciousness. Sleep settled over her like a warm blanket, acting as a protective shield.
Wait a minute. Am I still hearing them damn birds? Was that the birds? It might have been from the original track.
Went dark. Noah let out an involuntary yawn.
Whatever. It's fine.
"Good night, Vi," she murmured. Her legs curled onto the small space of the couch. As soon as her eyes closed, she lost consciousness.
That's definitely the original track.
Sleep settled over her like a warm blanket, acting as a protective shield from the revelations that would soon come her way.
Okay, let's have that fade in a little bit smoother.
Her way.
It's good. Oh, what the hell was that? Oh, that's the master chain going off. Why does it make that? Sometimes when you turn off and turn on effects, when you automate, it has some type of residual. I don't know why. I don't know why it does this, but it has some type of residual sound that, like phantom sound or some shit that is like really annoying. But you can. It's almost like hearing the click of a button or something. It's weird. How are we doing on time? 20 minutes in. Okay, good. Doing great. It's weird. Okay. Actually, that might be the end of this track. Let me see if I can cut this. Maybe it's something there. Let's try it again.
Her way.
It was. Hey, this is Keith Hayden from the Cereus Limnic Audio Drama Podcast. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. And I just wanted to remind you that podcasts live and die by their support from their fans and listeners. So if you'd like to give a rating or a review for this podcast, I would greatly appreciate it because it helps more people discover the show and it helps it to be distributed all around the world to potential super fans like you. So if you're interested in leaving a rating or a review, you can check the show notes for this episode and you can find the link there. Thank you for listening, and I hope to have you hear the next episode very soon. Take care. Okay, that's good. I think that works. The only thing I would change is I would bring this in a little bit faster, like have it start building up again. And I'm going to cut the rest of the song, so we just kind of end there. And I think we have an episode, folks. I think we're good to go. And I'm glad you saw this. I'm glad you saw a few hiccups in the process. I'm glad you saw kind of, how I troubleshoot things, how I, and a lot of this is experience dealing with the technology, dealing with the software, but then it's also kind of, you see how much of it is to taste, right? It's really just comes down to what do you want to hear? This is how I like to end. I don't know where I got this from, but this is how I like to end most of my podcasts, especially this podcast. And I think I change it because I've run 4 podcasts at this point. Like I've hosted, done this audio engineering stuff for 4 podcasts, different ones. And I think every one, I try and bring a different flavor, a different type of approach to it. If it's more, this is a fiction podcast, so I approach it differently than I approach like my other podcast with my brother, Two Brothers Talking. That's a different type of style of podcast, and it's a different editing style. But you just get experience with it, and you just learn what you like and learn what you don't like, and then you go from there as you do it more. So phase 3 is done. This is it. There's one more thing that I want to do, which is an editing trick that I learned from watching an Andrew Huang video. He's a music producer on YouTube, does a lot of YouTube videos. And I want to add an audio track. And what I'm going to do with this audio track, because one of the things, and I'll get into this in the next video when we talk about rendering, but one of the things with rendering that can be a pain is you want to like really specify what you render. So what he does is he kind of makes a dummy track of like silence. He'll record a little bit. Let me see if I can record. Hello. Oh. Hello. Coming up in this chapter. Test. No test. Lily's daughter. Okay. So I didn't silence that, but I was just recording this. Hello. Coming up in this chapter. Test. Okay. So it doesn't matter. What I want to do with this kind of dummy track is, oh, actually, oh, let me fix something here. Actually, I don't want to record any sound. Watch this. Coming up in this chapter, Noe, Lily's daughter. Okay, so I didn't stop that, but I didn't record any sound. And all I'm going to do is, if I click this and just drag it out, I should be able to hold, was it shift? Oh no, is it alt? Control? You see me guessing like the shortcuts, right? I'm just being lazy at this point. Okay, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to control D all the way down. And what this is going to do is basically I'm bringing this all the way to the end of my track. So all I need to do is select this. When I want to render, I can just select this top track instead of having to grab from here all the way down to my sound effects, making sure I get every last little thing in. I'll just be able to select all this top row. Well, I don't want to do that. What is it? Alt A? No. Okay, well, anyway, I can just highlight this entire row and then it'll render all of that. It'll render the whole thing. So it's just a small little tweak, a little time save. So that's it. That's all I wanted to go over. I'm going to go back to full screen. So we've done it. We've finished our track. We're done with phase 3, which, as I said, is the most fun phase for me because you get to go through the creative process. You really get to, I don't know, you just get to, this is where I grow the most as kind of an audio engineer, sound engineer, a podcaster, engineer, whatever you want to call it, right? A person who edits podcasts, right? Because you just get to do so much experimentation and it's pretty fun to do. So phase 4 is typically a full listen of the entire thing to make sure it's good. I don't think I'm going to do a full listen, but what I will do for the sake of this training to keep it shorter is to check out the transitions because those are the main things that, you know, where shit can happen, right? Where things can go wrong. You know, stuff's too loud, stuff's too soft, you can't hear it. Something pokes out of the track too much, the master track. And then I'll briefly go over mastering, which is just getting it loud, and I'll show you some of my settings for that. And then we're going to put it into Captivate. I'll show you my process for filling out all of the podcast stuff. And don't worry, it's not as bad as it seems because, and I'll talk a little bit more about this in the next video, but yeah, it's something that's necessary and you will want to spend some time doing because this is how people are going to like identify with your show. It's very important that you get it right. And then after that, we are going to have a full episode. I can't wait. And I'm excited if you've been following along and you are getting encouragement out of this and or you're learning tips and tricks about Ableton or just about sound engineering or audio engineering. That is exactly what I want for you. So I will be back. I'm going to take a quick break to wrap this up and finish the next episode, the next video, so we can finish this training. I'll see you there. Thanks for watching.